Good morning, everyone. Chris Martinson here of Peak Prosperity, and I'm here with a coronavirus update for you. It is 10:17 in the morning on Monday. This is January 27th. And here's what I want to do for you really quickly. I'm really worried that people are being not just poorly informed, which is true, but absolutely uninformed about what I think, excuse me, is probably the most important information ever. I mean, it's once in 100 years you go through a pandemic. We've got all the signs of an absolute pandemic going on. So I just want to show you a quick experience of why this bothers me so much, and then I'm going to take you through a tour of the information I am actually looking at. So to make this really fun and clear, I've done a couple of things. First, I took a separate browser. I don't usually use Internet Edge, but I went there, cleared out the cookies so they don't know who I am. Now I've taken my VPN and I've routed through Mexico. So I'm just going to have an absolute anonymized experience. Internet Edge doesn't know who I am. So I'm going to show you what the average person is seeing out there right now. So let's bring that up. All right. So first thing is, this is the average news feed you would see if you were just an anonymous person coming in. So what are we noticing? Well, apparently, if we prioritize these things by what's on top, the Grammys are really important. Fans apparently are really upset about Usher's Prince tribute. Something else going on here. There's an ad, of course. You always get those up top. Kobe Bryant. Authorities are probing Kobe Bryant. Big story. But is it the most important story in your possible life? So again, here we see Kobe, another ad, some sports scores. Let's go down. Let's see how far we have to go down before we find something about the coronavirus here. Stars are reacting to the death of Kobe Bryant. I don't know what this is off the campaign trail centers. I don't know. Couldn't be more relevant right now as far as I'm concerned. More ads. Kobe again. Oh, here we go. Dow Future Sync 400 points as coronavirus cases rise. That's it. It's about money. It's not about your personal health. It's not about the preparations you should be taking right now. It's not even about the impact that this will probably have on things like global supplies, local supplies of things as this pandemic catches fire and shuts down trade and travel. But look at this. It's the Grammys again. The dark side of owning a car collection. Something about stranger feeds a chained dog for you. Yeah, a feel-good story, but it's not important. It's not context. All this political stuff we're looking at, it's the Grammys, politics, distraction, 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 distraction after distraction. None of this has any important value to your life besides being merely interesting. It's not actionable, and it's not what you need to know. Look at this. Still scrolling. What am I finding here? Nothing. Grammys, ads, sports, Kobe, on and on and on again. And I'm looking, show me, look how far I have to come down here. Oh, look. Here's the top stories from Bloomberg. Bloomberg does a pretty good job on this stuff. Virus death toll at 80. China extends New Year holiday. That doesn't give me any sense of what's going on here. So let me show you what I am looking at so we can get a sense of that. So let me pull that down. Let me pull this back up. And I'm going to start here first. Here's an article that I consider important. It says containing new coronavirus may not be feasible. I think that's absolutely the case, of course. Experts say as they warn of possible sustained global spread. Well, this is all but a guarantee at this point in time, and I'm going to show you why, because of that other thing I brought up. This is a current FlightAware tracking showing all, this is China right here, showing all the flights. This is a major landing hub. Here's a major landing hub. So we see flights taking off, coming towards, departing from China. So can it be contained? No, not as long as at this exact moment. This is just a snapshot of, I mean, this is live. So we're seeing flights in the air at this moment. We have hundreds and hundreds of flights in the air right now. And let me tell you why that's important. So let me switch over here real quick. I'm showing you here, we're comparing two things in this chart. And I found this over on Reddit, so this isn't my chart, but the data looks right to me. And we're comparing the infections over time of the coronavirus, which is officially labeled a 2019-nCoV, new coronavirus. How many of those are infected versus the SARS infected, baseline to 0, which is when was the first day where they could trace back to say that's patient 0, case 1. You know, so they're both at 0. SARS actually wasn't tracked until March, but its first case was tracked way back to November. This is March 2003. That would have been November 2002. Meanwhile, the nCoV virus, this new coronavirus, first case was December 8th. Here we are. we now actually, if this was updated, we would see another dot here officially. I think the actual dot's up here somewhere. So, hey, if the flights statistically were pretty safe back here, I think, so all those things that were flying around from December 8th through about January 15th, 17th, somewhere in that zone, those were okay. But ever since then, the flights should not be in the air. Flights here are just stupid. So yeah, the experts say we're a little concerned about how we could contain this. Every single plane that leaves here it probably has the same amount of infectivity capability as every other plane before it, all added together. That's the nature of exponential functions. So every plane that's leaving from these days out here is just a much, much bigger risk. All right, so now let's return here. Let's see what else I think is really important news. Here's important news. Hong Kong experts, tens of thousands likely now infected. I agree with this report as I put out in my video yesterday. The crammed hospitals and the official case statistics don't line up even slightly. I'm going to trust the crammed hospitals as a first place. They're estimating that some 44,000 people in Wuhan alone likely to have been infected by the new virus. This is an estimate they're making. I think that's probably directionally correct. And is it exactly right? No, but it's probably a lot more correct than the 2,800 that are currently being reported, or 2,900, whatever it is now. I mean, they're saying 2,744 here, but I think it just got bumped up. At any rate, it's very serious, and they're saying that governments should implement draconian measures, and that would include not seeing planes flying all over the sky, and because of this little chart right here. Next, look at this. Mongolia closes border with China, shuts down schools, bans public gatherings in an effort to prevent coronavirus. That's the first state-level border closing I'm aware of. You can expect more of these. They're coming. The impacts off of that are going to be very, very hard to predict, but with a just-in-time global delivery system for manufacturing, this is a huge, huge issue that's coming up. So that's important. That's really actually what's important. That's big news. Now, how about this news? CDC official, this is 11 hours ago, we're preparing as if this is a pandemic. They haven't actually gone out and called it one yet, but they're preparing as if it is. And they're being super, super cautious because, again, as we pointed out a couple days ago in a video and again yesterday, the Chinese health minister is clearly saying people are infectious before they have symptoms of the coronavirus. Now, look at this. Here's the weasel wording of very careful bureaucracy that's going to be 3 or 4 or maybe 10 steps behind a fast-moving virus. We at CDC don't have clear evidence that patients are infectious before symptoms onset, but we're actively investigating that possibility. Way too cautious there. We've got tons of evidence that patients are infectious before symptom onset, and so I don't even understand why they feel the need to try and soft pedal this, except they don't want you to know this. They'd rather you weren't panicking, and I understand that from a certain standpoint. We're not asking people to panic, but we're asking people to have appropriate information, which is if this thing even has the possibility of being transmissive in an asymptomatic state, you need to know that. You deserve to know that. You need to understand that you should be taking appropriate precautions, right? We need to be preparing as if this is a pandemic, but I continue to hope that's not. No, not we need to be preparing as if. We need to be preparing for this pandemic. Let's change some verbiage there. That would be better. So CDC, like a lot of bureaucracies, is going to be a little bit behind the curve. Great organization. I'm going to show you some stuff from them that I think is really helpful and good. But at the same time, this is really not something that that they're far enough along. So what should you be doing? Well, what I want you to look at then would be, let's see. There's a couple of things from the CDC I really do like, and I like a lot. So they have a variety of checklists that are very, very good to go through, and things that you should be preparing for. Looks like I'm having a little trouble pulling this up, but here's an emergency kit checklist for kids and families. Look at this, take a snapshot, write this down, come to this area for the CDC. This tells you all the things that you might want to know about you would need to have in an emergency. So here's a nice little list. I agree with everything on this list. They may not all be appropriate for you, but they've got checklists here. and as well, lots of other things over here that you could actually go through at this point in time. All right, as well, I'm going to see if I can find this next one because this is really important. Yeah, I like this one. Was it here? Yeah, this one. Get this one. Absolutely. Download this, put a 3-ring hole binder punch in it, and put it in a binder. I've done that. This is about how to get your household ready for a pandemic flu. Lots of great advice in here. Let's scroll down real quickly. Look, everyday preventative actions. These are the things here that you should be doing. Stay at home when you're sick. Cover your coughs and sneezes with a tissue, but actually you should be wearing a surgical mask if you think you got this beast as a possibility, so you don't spread it to people that you love and care about or anybody else. Wash your hands, clean frequently all the touch surfaces and objects. If you actually get the pandemic flu, oh boy, here's some great advice. Keep your distance. Stay at home if you're sick. Don't go to the hospital. We covered that. Create a separate room for sick people. Use face masks. Avoid sharing personal items. Absolutely don't go to large events. We've already seen that. Things have gotten postponed, canceled, large events all over the world. France canceled a Chinese New Year's holiday gathering. All kinds of things are being shut down in Hong Kong, etc. So anyway, get this as well. So these are all really good pieces of advice that you should be following. Again, there is the link for that. We'll have all of this at my website at Peak Prosperity, and as well, this is all the official stuff you should do. There's some unofficial things you should probably consider as well, and you might have to get creative. For instance, if you can't find any N95 or surgical masks, which is rapidly becoming a thing. So at any rate, that's my quick report here for now. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for listening.